Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to War in the Soul City, Episode 10. Our coterie recently just came back from a feeding venture during which they were focusing strictly on the needs to dine after coming back from the abandoned mall warehouse in which Dana torched another kindred. Supposedly an anarch kindred. And so the coterie returns before the daylight strikes to unwind from the night's adventure. Dana has been expressly quiet. More so than usual. And perhaps our coterie members have picked up on that. So, we begin there. The aftermath of this brutal kindred murder. The hotel is fairly quiet. All of you are making your way from the lobby down to the basement, where in the boiler rooms, or an abandoned or cleared out boiler room, you all have created your bunker, your safe haven, your storage space for your immobile corpses as the daylight comes. And it's almost as if the silence is thick in the room.
Other than killing Mullen, nearly mauling another person to death trying to feed, what's going on with y'all? Rodney? Dana?
We um we went to the mall. Yes. Rather uneventful, I would say.
I didn't find nothing.
There was nothing outside the building.
Oddly specific for what I asked, but okay.
I did not go inside. That was Dana and Mercy and Liv.
Dana? Find anything?
Not much to end up speaking of. Just to end up saying that apparently the reservoir is being occupied, which I think is of some concern when it comes down to the city proper. I don't know, maybe the higher ups don't like the idea of anarchs being in control of any kind of water supply when it comes down to the city. I don't know, that's maybe presumptuous of me myself, but suffice it to say, the individual we sought was more than compliant in the end. Besides, the building was an eyesore. Sorry, what was that? I don't think I heard you.
I said, who in their infinite wisdom gave the Anarchs territory that covers the reservoir?
Well, at this point, that's where they're hiding out. And I think that in the interest of maintaining a wonderful, luxurious city such as Jackson, it probably behooves us to end up doing something about it. Not sure if we should handle it ourselves or just ship this one off to the sheriff. I didn't want to presume.
It may be in our best interests to, at the very least, keep the sheriff informed.
Fantastic.
Do you intend on trying to meet up with Spencer? What time is it now?
You know that it's approaching dawn.
Okay. Later this evening. But not
Later
much I
this
can
evening,
do about
not
it
much
now.
evening left. Or are you talking about Mara?
Dawn's coming. New day and all.
Don't worry, it
Don't know
always
how
gets
you,
confusing when your midday happens to be the day when time, or what day it is, changes. Just wanted
I
to be
don't know how
clear.
y'all keep time. Later tonight.
Out tomorrow.
Whatever you want to call it. There's a few things he needs to be made aware of. Apparently that the Anarchs are holed up in the reservoir is among them. He would like to join me. You're more than welcome.
Well, not exactly built to end up here standing outside with a rifle and a fancy fur hat, so could make the most of it. I imagine time we can end up having a dear old moment. Honestly, at this
Look
exact
awful cute,
moment,
though.
I'm. Pardon?
Malice, meandering, musing in his head, mutters, "You look awful cute, though."
Oh, that was in his head. Okay, I can't respond to that.
No, he muttered, "You'd look awful cute" out loud. Imagining Dana in the fur cap with the rifle.
Yeah, her eyes narrow at you with this. I'm not sure if I should stab you right now.
Give Liv a run for her money.
I resent that remark. I'm going to bed.
Yeah, it's about that time.
You know what? That's perfectly fine with me. I think I'll end up taking the moment to end up resting up myself. I have a lot to consider given the evening's proclivities.
Can I have a word with you before you retire?
Of course, my smelly friend.
I don't smell that bad, do I?
I could ask the neighbors 5 doors down, just to be clear. It's so overwhelming at this point that all I can do is get used to it and assume that it adds to the ambiance.
Okay.
Don't worry, nothing. I'm sure nothing that some kerosene in a match won't cure.
Let's not do that. Yes.
And Dana starts to make her way out.
And Rodney will follow.
Which leaves Ken and Malice to part ways or have a word, their choice.
Alice, I was wondering if you could do something for me. Not that you don't. I already owe you enough, but you are a medical man, yes?
Yes, I am.
Can you close some of these bullet holes up a little bit to make them at least look like they're healing? In case someone sees it before I can take care of it naturally.
Give me a minute to get my bag. I also walk to his room to grab his medical bag.
And it's not hard. It's nothing you haven't seen before.
Many holes in my chin up.
I don't know. I have a lot of a lot of superficial damage.
It's not going to heal it, for sure.
I know that. I just wanted to basically like someone's not going to see, oh my god, there's bullet holes there. It's like, oh, there's stitched up wounds.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not hard for Malice to pull out some a suture and thread, a suture needle and thread, and close those up for you.
Yeah,
I was
I'll
just
be.
confirming because I thought the aggravated stuff didn't come until after Joseph did the extinguished vitae. But everything else was superficial.
I don't know where your health tracks are at, but it would hide superficial wounds.
Yeah, I have one aggravated.
Malice will get all the superficial stuff.
It's a fairly big chunk that's torn out of him too, and you know that, and that's not gonna cover. That can't be covered with a simple needle and thread. That's if he can't recover it now, he's gonna have to pack it until he can.
Malice know how packing it works with healing while we sleep.
Malice would also know from some experience that the sutures will definitely fall out when he attempts to heal. But who knows if they're going to attempt to fall out during the night. You know that some physical changes, like if you were to change your hair color, because maybe you've done so once or twice to get rid of some of those grays, it stays for the night, and that's about it. Then everything that you are reverts to the way it was.
Okay.
All the big chunk I can try to heal now.
Which would be 3 rouse checks, Ken.
Oh shit. I thought it was 2.
Nope, 3.
Well, I'll get myself to another frenzy if I fail all of them. That'll be great.
It's your choice. You can either choose to do it now, or you can choose to do it later.
I need to heal this. The superficial stuff I can pass the human, but there's a chunk of me missing. Alright, here we go.
Alright, it only costs you 1 point in hunger. You course the vitae in your veins with your will. It's not like your heart beats or anything. It just courses through you at your will. And as if you're looking at the wound itself, it's almost as if the muscles, the fibers reach out for each other, meld together, and solidify with a layer of skin over top to give you that chunk that you were missing back, perfect, as if this exactly as you had been the night of your embrace. It's still as young as you are, still amazes you to this day. How you can will your body to mend itself just with a thought.
Ken will look down and just say, well, thanks for the stitches. I still didn't get used to some of the stuff we can do. It's kind of amazing.
If you ever get used to it, let me know. Want to know how you did it.
Have a good night, Malice. No, I'm sorry again for losing control. I'm going to try to stay on top of that. I don't want
Make
that
sure
to
you
happen.
do. As well. I'll see you in the evening.
Good night.
Which brings us back to Dana and Rodney. Thankfully, Dana, the foul scent that he normally puts off is a little subsided. Or maybe
I
it's put
imagine.
off by the amount of sweet-smelling fragrances that you have in your room.
No doubt as a response to the fact that he has this tendency of coming in every so often, and all done in preparation. Or maybe it's just because we're now going into fresh air and the stench hasn't had a chance to permeate into the woodwork like ticks. But either way,
I wanted to check in with you. You seemed rather affected by everything at the mall. Are you all right?
Rodney, I just ended up dousing a man in kerosene and ended up lighting it with a road flare. I proceeded to lose myself in these trying to get out, clawing my way out through a window as the room ended up encasing itself in fire and proceeded to end up engulfing probably a good portion of the loading dock before we ended up escaping and fire emergency services happened to arrive, in which case hopefully they find nothing but ash.
Yes.
How do you think I'm doing?
My guess is not particularly well. But it has come to my attention that you know quite a lot about the Anarchs. And then with your affectedness tonight, were you acquainted with the person in there?
Are you asking were we intimate and going out to see movies together, feeding together, and going out, or did you just, or was it just at a point where we were having an occasional pity fuck?
I wouldn't have gone that far, but sure.
Well, you didn't have the option. I'm sure your
So-
face wasn't the only thing that fell off.
So you, so you were acquainted with this person?
Eternity's a long time to be bored.
I see.
What are you getting at, Rodney?
Who were you before you came to us?
You'd asking Kenneth that same question. Weird on how you're asking me now.
I am asking you now as a point of curiosity and self-preservation.
I'm an expert on anarchs, especially locally. I'm in this coterie because I happen to have more knowledge than the typical camarilla. I make it a point to have arrived specifically to end up expressing their typical tactics, their ways of thinking, their general ideology, and I also end up having a very strong understanding on the Baron and other figures that may be of interest when it comes down to the Anarch movement. It's kind of what I do. It's a requirement for anybody who happens to be staying on the line this much, and outside of giving everybody a very detailed dossier that could potentially become masquerade breaching, well, instead of doing that, you have me.
Yes. Yes. All right.
Why
I
don't
hope.
you ask what you actually want to know?
How involved with the Anarchs have you been? Truthfully.
I set the sheriff on fire.
You were one of them.
And I'm standing right now. Which should end up telling you that there's a lot more going on here than most others would care to know. And that this line of questioning is incredibly dangerous for you. You are worried about your own ability to sustain yourself and your existence. You're taking a step in the wrong direction if you keep going down this path. Because you might hear something you really don't want to know. What I just told you is trivial by comparison. If you keep digging, if you keep asking about it, eventually you're going to ask the wrong person, a person who this actually matters to. And when that happens, well, tonight'll seem like a cakewalk.
This is why I come to ask you instead of asking others.
Consider it professional courtesy that I answered.
I will indeed.
Anything else you need to know?
No, you have answered my questions. Dana, I hope you can understand that you can trust me at the very least, not stake you in your sleep. Just the same as I would hope that I can trust you to do the same.
If I trust you to in that capacity, I would be an idiot.
Very well.
You are more than capable of doing so. You have every reason to do so. And you definitely need a scapegoat. So you're probably going to keep me around for that exact reason until it becomes completely expedient for you to throw me under the bus. In which case, you're going to do that in the very first thing because you are Nosferatu, and that's what you do.
Perhaps.
You're ugly inside and out. I'm just keeping you around because, well, bluntly, we have to end up working together. And while I know you can't make me look good, with you being right beside, the least you can do is not make me or yourself look any worse than situations are already. And that means that a certain degree of understanding is required. I know that you really want to end up getting to the root of it all, so by all means, keep digging. But I'd rather you be digging towards the anarchs than towards myself. Because I'm a closed book that you really don't want to read.
Very well. I will leave you to get your rest, Dana.
Well, I'm not the only one here who needs beauty sleep, but even a few centuries wouldn't end up helping you any.
Rest easy. And with that, he will leave.
And so, all of you in the dig crew lay down to rest. The sun rises. Your corpses lay still, motionless, alone with your thoughts for the morning. Plotting, scheming, planning, regretting. The rest of the mortal world goes about its business for the day. Going to work, going to school, going to family for the holidays. The air is chilly during the day. The sun brings no warmth to this little part of Mississippi. And when the sun falls, the nights get colder. And those who live amongst the dead rise from their rest. You may regain willpower equal to your resolve or composure, whichever is higher for the rest. And I would like you all to make rouse checks.
Success.
Rodney, your stomach growls, as if it's a beast of its own. Dana, same with you. The ever-present turmoil of that unsatiable hunger. It tickles the back of your throat. But you arise, all of you, in your bunker, safe, unharmed, and ready to tackle the events that you plan for today. So, what do you plan to do?
Question of clarification.
Mm-hmm.
Did Mercy specify what time meet Spencer at that location?
You get the sense that it would be fairly early in the evening. It does get fairly dark around 7 o'clock these nights. And so you assume that somewhere around a full nightfall would be the time at which he would join you.
Okay.
This way there's no question that both of you had arisen. Dana, Rodney, Ken, are you off to anything specific?
I believe that I was invited by Malice to end up going to see the sheriff.
Rodney would like to go and make a visit to his homeless allies.
Okay.
Ken's probably going to try to heal a little bit, maybe feed, and then go to the club. Or at the bar, or Dana's place.
We're going to assume that that is already taken care of. That's not something that you have to actively take care of. So you are free to do what you need to this evening. I was going to consider part of your feeding role to be exactly that, so.
Okay. Then I guess Ken would probably tag along with one of the two. Probably with Rodney, so nobody's going alone.
Fair enough. A buddy system it is. And when the four of you come out of your little hole in the ground, there is a slight ruckus going on at the front desk. The raising of voices, a very familiar voice, a French voice. The voice of one Jacques Collin de Plancy, demanding to speak with one of you by name.
Mr. DeFonse.
Another individual is there trying to quiet the unruly Frenchman at the moment. And the two of them, when they see the four of you coming into the main hall of this particular hotel, Mr. DePlancy makes a beeline straight for all of you. With Spencer Quinn not far behind.
Yeah. This time we head back down to the hole. Was looking for you. Surprised. Well, not so surprised to see you, Mr. DeFonse.
Where is Willow?
We have a lot to discuss, and if you will come with us, it'll make this one much easier.
Yes. You have a lot to answer for. And if you usher him towards the bunker, he will gladly follow.
We have a room not in the bunker, near the bunker, out of the way of everyone else.
Kind of a private room for meetings and such, since this is where you can be found.
Yes. It's like a conference room.
One that you're sure is fairly soundproofed. So the raising of voices can't be heard from the outside.
And that will be where Alice leads Mr. Quinn and Mr. DePlancy.
And when the door is shut, and the four of you stand between these two older kindred, Jacques folds his arms and looks squarely at the four of you. Where is Willow?
What do you know of Joseph Gutenberg, sir?
That he is a right bastard.
That we agree, but beyond that he's a bastard, do you know anything?
that he left the Chantry when the Chantry was hit the hardest. He's brilliant. He's a madman. Ooh, you're rustling really bad. All I hear is movement. I do not hear words.
I hadn't said anything.
Oh. All I was hearing was...
Mr.
Go ahead.
Mr. Duplancy, hi.
Hello. Nosferatu.
Willow was taking part in an investigation, as far as I'm aware.
Yes.
Much the same as what we were.
Yes, she was. At the behest of the Chantry and as well as Mr. Quinn here.
Yes. Well, during said investigation that we were also taking part in, she was taken.
She freaked out and drew Joseph's attention. I don't know what the what you would call that he did, but really took Ken out in the process of us trying to make our exit.
What are you saying? Be straightforward, man.
Being straightforward.
He did something.
Mr. Joseph Gutenberg has taken Willow.
Thank you.
Yes. He did something. It made me very hungry. I don't know what it was. But when he did it to her, she just collapsed. I tried to push him back to get to her and get her in the car, but he's frankly quite older than me, and I stood no chance.
Stupid fool.
Well, at least you have some good news to go on. That's the reason we're here.
What good news could you possibly have? I've lost 2 children to the Anarchs now.
Well, with the potential to get one back, because at this exact moment, we came as soon as we could, given the night situation, that apparently they fled to the reservoir.
The reservoir.
That's the last bit of information we got.
And this information is reliable. You don't suspect a trap.
Oh, I always suspect a trap. That's nothing new in my line of work. But it is the one thing you have to go on. And suffice it to say, he was very pliable in the end. About the time the road flare ended up deciding to hit the ground, and then there was the scream and burning and all that fun stuff. You know, that smell never really comes out. It's like burnt dog hair. It just kind of sticks to me.
Mojo, you're moving around a lot. Or at least your mic is. And Spencer kind of furrows his brows at you a little bit before, like, cocking one in curiosity.
We returned after Willow was taken to the scene where she was taken from, and we ran into an Anarch on scene where Miss Rainier dispatched of them.
Interesting.
Unfortunately, though, there was no other sign of Willow, aside from that information that we've gotten.
So what you're telling me, Jacques continues, is that she is as good as dead.
If they wanted to kill her, they would have done it then.
It's only a matter of time. All anarchs do is fight each other and kill each other.
They plan on getting information from her, and as long as she has information they find useful, she will be alive. As much as any of us are alive.
You have higher hopes than I do.
It's only been probably 16 hours by now.
Well, then I suppose I should prepare for the windfall of this. And what, do you intend to get Willow back?
That was the plan.
Well, Willow was a acquaintance of mine, and I would very much like to see her well. Yes.
I've all but given up hope on Urian. He is a fool, a child, and easily persuadable.
Well, you picked him.
Yes, I did. That was before I realized such things.
Mr. de Plancy, I would like to ask, are there ways for your clan with their capabilities to pick up the entrance of kindred into an area?
How do you mean?
I don't know much about the things that you do, but the magic stuff.
If you're worried that Urian and Willow are going to spill the secrets of the Chantry, as you know, as thoughtful as that is, neither of them are very blood magic.
No.
Capable.
This is not to do with them. It's just more for Mr. Gutenberg's capabilities. Say if a kindred from the Camarilla were to enter into Anarch territory, would it be possible for him to have magical senses or something around the area to pick that up?
He has been separated from the Chantry for many years now.
But is it possible?
It is always possible. I don't know what he has picked up in the years since he's been separated from the Chantry, or what he's cooked up on his own, which is always dangerous.
I see. Yes.
So it is with great hesitation that anyone fall to the Anarchs as a Tremere. Because their capabilities, then you never know. And Joseph, when I knew him, was a genius.
A genius.
He is old. He's had time to practice. And has undoubtedly started teaching his own pupils who went with him. And now you know the full concern of the Chantry, Mr. Drummond.
Yes. The reason I question is, well, it's simply occurred to me that the Anarch movement may be building a stronghold around the reservoir.
It would make sense. The reservoir is full of, albeit disgusting, animals from which they can feed themselves upon, if they
Yes, well,
were so inclined.
I am aware of an animal tamer also watching the surrounds of the reservoir. A young kindred, or a young woman who is controlling alligators, if you would. So if they are setting that up as their center, it may become a bit more difficult, especially if they are uniting in the one place.
Anarchs uniting. That's poppycock.
I had a foray into Anarch territory some time ago, and I noticed that their markings were all singular.
And you made it out of there alive? That's impressive.
Yes, sir. But the singular markings, they use it to denote. They use markings to denote domains, the same as we have our domains here. And there were no separations of markings. It was all the same thing.
Spencer pipes up. Yeah, I've noticed that as well.
Mr. Duplancy, I'm sorry, but you were wrong about your first child. You may be wrong about your second child at this point, at least given your method going. And now you've dismissed the idea that the Anarchs can't gather under one banner. I know third time's the charge, but third time's the charm, but at this point the track record doesn't hold up. So
are you
maybe
insulting
rather than
me?
No, I'm questioning your judgment. Well, no, you can't question something that doesn't exist.
How dare you?
Because, well, you've already made the case for us. If this was such an issue, you would have already dealt with.
I will not stand here and be insulted by an Anarch sympathizer.
I do apologize.
That might be
insulted.
I think that might be a frenzy check.
Rodney is actually going to put himself between Dana and Jacques.
Which I'm going to give to Dana as a +1 to her frenzy check.
Okay.
Because Rodney is physically restraining you.
Okay.
No, he's not touching her. He's not touching her. He's just stepped between them.
Oof, so close. You're on the edge of your heels. You're on your tiptoes, ready to pounce, Dana.
If I might, I believe all Miss Rain is trying to say is that it might be wise to consider the possibility that these things are indeed possible, considering the evidence that has been provided.
Yes, clearly. I will not stand here and be insulted anymore. Good night.
Have a good
And-
evening, Mr. Duplancy.
And Jacques turns on heel and goes to leave.
Don't have any more kids.
And
And now we can move on to important conversations. So sorry, yeah, Sheriff's. Yeah, to end up keeping you waiting.
Hound, not Sheriff.
Hound. Sorry, that was my slip up out of character.
Okay, yeah, Dana wouldn't
Dana wouldn't make that mistake.
wouldn't
I
make that
did.
mistake, yeah. Well, I knew that bringing him into the conversation was going to be eventful. I did not expect him to lash out like that.
He's the one who
I
walked
did from
away.
meeting him the other night at the ball.
He's also the one who suffered the most as far as reputation when it comes to the Chantry, so I can understand why he's upset.
I did not expect to find Willow at the abandoned mall. And then I planned to investigate. As I said, I couldn't tell Mr. Ponzi. Whatever she freaked out about, immediately drew Joseph's attention. He was directed on her immediately.
Which makes sense. If he's looking to recruit.
Knew exactly who she was and seemed to be, other than Kenny here, sole focused. And only because Kenny tried to defend her. Mr. Gutenberg seemingly attack him secondarily.
No doubt he's going to try and indoctrinate her.
That is my suspicion.
As Mr.
Yeah, but
Mr.
you
Duplancy said, he is a powerful man. I wouldn't trifle with that sort. He's old, as far as I know.
I believe he will use urine as a weapon or tool as well. Being they are broodmates and share blood.
Well, based on comments that Willow's made in the past, I don't think that there's any love lost between those two.
You never can tell what's said and what is thought.
No, everything's dripping in lies when it comes to the kindred condition.
You
But
saying something, Miss Riley?
Oh, nothing. I was just considering a few things, and while I understand your hesitancy, Mr. Quinn, I would also remind you that this is your area of expertise, and us informing you is in turn informing the greater court. And given the fact that this is a member of the Camarilla, despite the stains of one's, well, siring, we're not in a position where we can lose anyone.
That's true.
And if we end, the longer we wait, the more problems show up. They're already
Right.
down one member.
And we're down
now
to
down one.
3, actually. Primogen Bach still hasn't recovered. And last I heard, Clarence was not recovering anytime soon.
So I think it's about time somebody got hit for it. And our hands are tied because there's only so much we can end up doing while looking over the nice little rack that is located in our domain, which you're welcome to partake in at any time, I'm sure. all in an
So-
effort to support the rightful rulership of the city.
That's much appreciated. You're generous.
When I can be. I can be a total bitch when I want to be.
That's why I like
You
you.
don't. He likes me. Should I start swooning now?
I'm too old
And
for
she'll
you.
do that. She'll just and literally fall in his arms to be caught.
And he will catch you, and he is a strong individual. You can feel the power behind the arms of this individual. They remind you very much of Belle's strength, and how she could just toss you around if she wanted to. She was always so delicate.
That was always the fun part. But eventually she pulls away from her.
I'm
little
much
theatrics.
too old for you, I'm afraid.
What's age got to do with eternity?
That's true. But we have more important things to do than trifle with curing boredom.
So,
Oh,
question.
well, I hope to be entertained later then.
If we make it through this war, then maybe.
Well, now you have a reason to survive it.
Touché. Yes, Malice.
Given what you know, Willow, the potential knowledge she possesses, what's the worst case scenario we're looking at here?
Well, if she truly knows as little as Mr. Duplancy has actually said here, then I don't think there's much that she could offer them. Maybe some obscure occult references, maybe because she's a bookstore owner, but aside from that, if she's not all that capable of a sorcerer, then I don't think she adds anything else. Which is why I think Mr. Duplancy is concerned about her well-being as much as he is, and is not so optimistic.
I would disagree, Mr. Quinn. Simply due to the every kindred in the Camarilla has certain level of information about how the inner workings happen, where certain things are, and that in itself could be useful to, say, the Anarch movement.
Vaguely. Some more than others. You would consider her a priority target. I would have thought Primogen Bach would have been a more suitable... Well, I say
She's
suitable. Suitable prisoner.
She's low enough on the rankings that nobody would pay attention. But high enough to be valuable.
I see. Well, if it is your desire to see her removed from their captivity, I'm not going to stop you. I'm simply going to warn you. Some of the Anarchs are vicious monsters. I've tangled with a few of them before.
Yes, I am unfortunately aware. I've had my own run-in in the past.
Many Bruja are amongst them.
Yes.
Bruja are easily angered and can easily send you through a wall. So,
Yes.
Be mindful. But, based on all of this information that you've provided me, I will certainly let Mr. Galvin know, as he should be informed.
Can ignore the marks I've left.
Yes, I think we
Seems
have
all the
sufficiently met
information.
at this point now, Malice.
Yes, sir.
Well, I have duties to attend to and plans to enact, as I'm sure you all do. So I'll leave you to it.
You have a safe evening now.
And you as well. Try not to get lit on fire.
Yes. Thank you for your visit, Mr. Quinn.
I don't doubt that Prince Calhoun will soon be outlawing fire. Rumor
So what you're saying
abounds.
is get it in now while you can.
I'm not saying that at all.
If his words were to burn them out where they are, destroy them all, well,
Given that the prince's childer suffered at the hands of fire, well, grandchild, I think that he would have a personal vendetta against anyone who does. So I assume, not saying that that's a for sure thing, but I assume that that is going to come down the pipeline.
Well, call it poetic license. And if anything, he'll be very happy to know that one of their own number has been removed with just as strict notifications. Namely of a jerry can and a roadside flare, but now I'm just bragging.
If you manage that, you got some stones, Miss Rain.
Only difference is I wear them on my chest. And yes, they are big.
Have an entertaining night.
how could it be anything less?
And Spencer Quinn turns to leave the conference room and leaves the four of you to plot and plan as you will in this fairly large conference room.
Daniel will just take a seat. Her little bit of flirtatious attitude suddenly now going to just doldrum.
Other than the tantrum from Mr. DePlancy, did anybody else glean anything from this conversation?
That it is a possibility that the Tremere are capable of detecting kindred movements within their region, within the Anarch area. Yes.
I can't speak to the means, but always a possibility. There are always ways of detecting unwanted and unwarranted movements where you are.
From my delving, the wander that I made in, there didn't seem to be any other ways for them to see, except for the odd animal, which there really weren't that many. So they would have to have another way to watch their borders, and I believe that that might be the method that they are using, which, if it is, there is also the possibility that they could expand that method. But it's all ifs and buts and nothing solid.
Nuts. Well, it has an awful lot of area to cover, and I'm not saying it can't be done. Other than physical eyes, Do I know anything about the mere blood sorcery at all through my study of the occult with Magdalene?
You know some basic facts about Tremere blood sorcery, but they keep that under lock and key.
As tightly as we keep our oblivion.
Yep.
Okay.
As tightly as you keep your Oblivion rituals, they keep that all of that to themselves. And so when Jacques was saying that even some Tremere being separated from the Chantry is a huge deal, you can expect the unexpected out of it.
Okay. They have their magics as I have my own. They hold as closely as I hold my own. I wouldn't put it past them to be able to do what you were talking about with that. But I don't
Well,
know the means. I just know that for me to do what I do, to cover an area that size would require huge amounts of blood and maintenance that I don't know that they have the numbers for.
maybe they don't have to cover the entire area. Maybe they just have to look at pockets.
That was going to be my next suggestion, that they are focused more on main thoroughfares and key ways of getting in, or back doors that they expect others of our may try to use.
Either way, this is beyond my area of expertise. I have people to speak with this evening. I need to do this before I run out of energy. I'm already on the low. Ugh.
The one thing I got out of this whole question or conversation is how outnumbered we are if we try to do anything, and how desperately we need some muscle. How are we going to deal with that?
How do you figure that we are outnumbered?
There's only the four of us, plus Liv and Mercy, if they're not on patrol.
With the entire Camarilla as our backing.
They didn't say they were going to help us try to get Willow back.
No, but that is beyond the point. Willow is a small piece of a much larger game. All we need to do is move incrementally forward ourselves.
Well, Rodney, if you're going to do your rounds, I don't think anybody should be alone. I'll tag along if you don't mind.
Yes, but you stand out. I will get you some clothes.
I'll get my own clothes. I will dress down.
No, I will get you some clothes.
Ken, the thought of it smelling like cats offends your nose, having not even smelt it yet.
It's okay. I can dress down. It'll be fine.
No, if you're anything like Dana, you can't dress down. It doesn't happen.
There are a lot of ways me and Dana differ. This is one of them. I'll always be pretty, but you'd be surprised what a hoodie and a pair of short or sweatpants can do.
Make sure you roll around the alley a little bit so that you fit in with the smell.
Ken will just kind of visibly shudder.
Layers. Layers. Trust me, layers.
Okay.
So, Rodney and
I will
Ken
turn him into
are.
a homeless guy yet.
Sorry, what?
I will turn him into a homeless guy yet.
So, Rodney and Ken are going to be visiting with the homeless. And
Alice will turn to Dana. Miss Rain, is there anything else that you need or require of me this evening?
No, I can't imagine there is. I appreciate it, though, good doctor.
Thank you as well. And I will take my leave.
where are you off to, Malice?
Alice is off to see Bastion.
And Dana?
I have no idea at this point. I can't just go off and handle this, but I think at this exact moment, I guess I should just end up going to court, see what the gossip is, see what everybody's talking about, talk the town, and who knows, maybe I'll be lucky enough to run to Clancy and be able to end up raking him across the coals a little bit more, because that was just kind of fun.
Well, with that, we are going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll see what it is that our dig crew gets up to as they part ways for the moment. So don't go anywhere, everybody. Welcome back, everyone, to War in the Soul City, Episode 10. The dig team has parted ways for the evening, at the very least. For some, it's personal business. For others, it's research. For others, it might be toying with the idea of putting a certain Frenchman's reputation into a further vice. But...
Like his balls.
Yes, of course. But tonight, Malice has something on his agenda that he's been meaning to get around to for a little while now. Not far from the hotel, Malice, you make your way to a very familiar home. One in a suburban neighborhood. That's fairly nice, given the fairly poor majority of most of Jackson. But it's here that you find the vehicles parked outside are both there. So you assume that both occupants to this house are home. You know this to be the home of your brother Bastion.
As Malice gets to the door before he knocks or rings the bell, he's going to blush of life.
Go ahead and rouse for that, please.
And I'm hungrier.
That ever bottomless pit just wants to swallow all of you whole. And you have the distinct urge that you need to fill that void. And that ever-present urge is growing stronger now.
Malice is also going to sense the unseen.
Okay. Go ahead and make the roll for that then.
Okay.
This way we know where you're at for that.
That is 3 successes.
3. Okay. Nothing sparks on your radar so far as right now. And you give the door a knock.
Yeah.
And what you see when the door opens is the familiar face of Savannah.
Hey, Munchkin.
Hey, Uncle Chris.
Daddy home?
Yeah. Dad and Mom are both
How's
home.
school going?
We're out for Christmas, so don't go back till
I'm
January.
I'm aware you're out. Where did the semester go? As smart as your daddy?
No.
Oh, don't tell me that.
No. Well, I got a C in one of my classes. Get in.
Malice will walk in. Savannah up like he used to when she was a little kid. Give her a big hug. Just the back of his foot to close the door. Come on. Oh, C's not
How?
that bad.
I'm getting too big for this. How are you so strong?
You're never gonna be too big for your uncle. Pick you up and carry you around like you're a little toddler.
Pfft. As if.
I know you're getting big to it. I won't embarrass you in public with it, but behind closed doors and privacy of our home, you know.
That's okay. Uncle hugs are acceptable.
You're always gonna be my favorite.
I better.
Only anyways. Alice will dig around in the pocket, see if he still has any of the candies that he used to give her.
High or low?
Hi.
Nah. Nothing but
That's
lint.
Still got a couple of dollars. Alice will rummage around and put a 20 in her pocket. Buy yourself something nice, darling.
Ooh. She kind of just pulls that out of her pocket and kind of stares at it for a second. Dad! She calls out, stuffing the $20 bill into her pocket. And shortly after she calls out, you do see that your brother Bastion is coming down the stairs from this 2-story home from where you assume his own personal little getaway is.
Hey, Seabass, what's news?
Not much. What you been up to, Chris? I feel like I haven't seen you in months.
Yeah. Avoiding people like the plague. Keep me so busy up at the hospital.
Jesus. I'm working you to death, eh?
You could say that.
When are you gonna start interacting with live people instead of, cutting up cadavers or something?
You know, the best part about my patients is they can't talk back. Can't throw urine and feces at you either.
You did say something about that in med school, didn't you?
Yeah. Plus, I don't have to worry about any of those old women getting in their wheelchairs and chasing me down the halls, on the corner of me anywhere.
I mean, you were the pretty twin.
Uh,
Covering up them grays still? Trying to act like you're 20 years old again? I see you.
hey, I got a bottle for you too. Take care of all that.
It's dignified. What are you talking about? I
I'm gonna
wear it,
give it a try, just once. I mean,
I wear it with pride. Thank you. And he walks in further into the room and gives you a big ol' hug.
I hug him back. Hard, but not so hard that I'm actually gonna break a bone.
Mm-hmm.
But
How you been,
no,
brother? Really, though.
stressed. It's just so
Stressed?
much going on in this city.
What in the world they got you so stressed out about? I mean, like you said just now, you all you all you have your patients don't even talk back to you when you talk to them. If they
It
did,
ain't
I'd
the
start to
patients
worry.
it's not the patients that give me issue. It's politics and other people in the hospital. The politics getting involved in the running of the hospital. Mm,
Oh, jeez.
More red tape.
I mean, to be fair, you're kind of working side by side with law enforcement. I mean, that's gonna have red tape.
I can deal with them. That's how I made it through my internship. That's how I made it through college. I'm used to that. It's the red tape of the politics getting involved in the running of what the fuck I do and telling me how I need to run it.
Sounds like you're getting old, Chris.
No, I'm just tired of the bullshit.
That's fair. You want something to drink, like some tea or water?
Whatever you're drinking.
Well, I haven't fixed anything for myself yet, so I was asking you.
You know. Take a minute. What kind of stress level? I know he's been off a little bit for Christmas. What kind of stress level does Bastion seem to be under?
Make me a wits and insight.
Uh, yeah, alrighty. 1, 2, 3 successes.
You've always known Bastion to have the stronger poker face out of the two of you. Given his profession, it's understandable. He does have to maintain an impartial facade in front of a courtroom.
Yeah, but he still got his tails. He didn't all disappear.
But he's your brother. Your twin brother, at that. And much like you have been stating, he's under pressure too, and he doesn't wear it nearly as obviously as you might. But it's still there.
You still got that 16-year-old bottle of Bushmills I sent you Christmas?
Yeah, I think well, I only ever crack it open when you come over and you ask for it, so.
Pour us a couple doubles.
Double.
Whiskey Stone's still in the freezer.
Is what still in the freezer?
Whiskey Stones.
Oh, yeah.
Look like little cubes of rock. Yeah.
And Bastion will go and grab the liquor from the small collection that he has. Most of them fairly fine. Because the only thing that actually stays on the shelf might be the finer drinks.
Still there, or did it disappear?
What's that?
Is the Don Julio still there, or did it disappear?
That one's
very fine tequila.
That one's about half gone.
Now let's look at the other bottles. What kind of levels are they at? Mostly full.
All about the same, actually.
Half full.
About half full.
I was to think for a minute.
If you're kind of snooping around, you can make an investigation check.
Yes, that was where I was leading with this.
If you're kind of snooping around, that's a wits investigation.
It's investigation.
You're trying not to alert him that you're snooping.
It also looks like he's drinking a bit more than usual. So, all right. 1, 2, 3, 4. It is 5 successes. 8, 8, 8, 9, 9.
Very nice. Looking around, you know that he recycles. He does what he can. And there are a number of bottles in the recycling bin, and and since the lid's closed, you can really, well, the lid's not closed. It's not a closed lid. But it's got a few bottles in there. A few glass bottles. Maybe the cardboard of a 12-pack. Cheap beer.
That's blue ribbon. Keystone Light.
Something to that effect. Something fairly inexpensive and will do the job.
So check up to himself. I remember when we used to crush a 30-pack in a night. On the weekend, of course.
And before long, he does come back with that bottle of aged whiskey, and pulls down a couple glasses while you get the whiskey stones out of the freezer to mask that you were snooping, and goes ahead and pours a double for both of you.
I'll grab 3 stones, 2 for him, 1 for me. He always did like it older than me.
And he
2 stones in his glass, 1 in mine.
And he takes a pretty big sip of it. So, it's just work stress?
Mostly.
You don't got time for hobbies? You got a girlfriend?
Hobbies. The only hobby I ever had. Alright, I am going to have to browse to see if I can keep this down.
You're already blush of life.
That is right. I did that before I walked in.
Yeah, you did.
Okay. God, I still had to do that. All right. What was my only hobby, man?
I mean, aside from chasing off the pretty girls in high school?
How did you put it? Sticking my nose in places it didn't belong?
Yeah, you were the troublemaker out of all of us, let's be honest.
I wasn't a troublemaker. That just binds me.
Trouble finds you. You always used to say that. Always just seems to find you out of nowhere.
Still saying it. How's work for you?
Same old. It's not fancy. It's not anything glorious. It's a thankless job, but you know somebody's got to do it. He takes another swig of the whiskey.
Oh, well-respected judge. What do you mean it's thankless?
Well, you know, you occasionally have the pomp and circumstance of like the mayor swinging by, or a police chief swinging by, or somebody from, I don't know, the State Department. I don't know. Yeah, all the schmoozing. Never was really keen on the schmoozing. You were always the social one, remember?
I can't help it though. I'm a social butterfly and you're the closet recluse.
Yeah.
How our roles have changed.
Jeez. You're the one who got the
Thrust into
recluse
the
job.
spotlight.
How in the world did that happen? Seriously.
Well, when folks find out you working with dead folks, they tend not to stick around very
That's
long.
why you don't tell them that, man. Just say I work at a hospital. Then you get all the chicks. People say chicks anymore?
That? Man, I don't know the common lingo anymore amongst these youngers.
God, I'm getting
Better
old.
off asking your daughter about that.
Man, she's growing up too fast.
Yeah, she is. She says she's too big for hugs.
Too big for
Maybe
hugs.
in public.
She's gotten into that phase where she's starting to get embarrassed by her white-haired old parents.
Yeah. It was bound to happen. Even with us.
Not you,
as
though.
much as Mama did for us. Yeah.
You're the one covering up your age. Who's in denial now?
Am I covering it up, though?
I don't know, are you?
You tell me.
You look like you're going down to the drugstore and getting some Just for Men just to cover up the grays at your temples.
Maybe what it looks like. I don't know. Don't really pay attention too often, really. Most of my time investigating and looking into bodies.
Any
Dead things.
interesting cases come across your desk? Or gurney?
I've been... not lately. I took a bit of vacation for winter break.
That's how you finally have time to come see me, huh?
Yeah. I'm hearing a lot of ruckus around town, though.
About what?
Somebody tried to steal something the other night. I don't know much about it.
Steal something from where?
Where? I don't know.
Steal
Out
what?
of a big box truck.
A big box truck. Oh.
Yeah, had a big crash. Heard there was a huge chase.
Oh. Oh, yeah. I recall seeing that in the paper, actually. I wasn't involved in the case with regards to that. There wasn't really a case to mount. Uh, the
Everything just disappeared.
well,
Everybody involved.
the truck was empty. The is just
How they
wreckage, like
disappeared?
it's abandoned.
Yeah.
Whatever was in it, they took it with them, and there wasn't anybody caught. So no
Anything else
CCTV
like
footage
that?
of that or anything like that. Like there's nobody to be seen, nobody to identify. So it's kind of dead in the water.
You had anything else like that recently?
I'm not aside from the usual, you know, petty thug. I mean, I may be well respected, but I do primarily criminal cases.
That's what I'm trying to pick your brain on. Parts of the city seem to have just gone silent on that respect. Others, it seems to be blowing up recently.
I mean, I see these kids every day. One after the other, just kind of cycling through. Sometimes you're
Far as
lucky and you
me.
see another. Well, maybe not so lucky. You see the same kid rolling through.
As far as recent news, you hear about that lady last night, 2 nights ago,
Which lady?
attacked on the street? They
Tagged.
called the EMS to come pick her up. But to track her, I don't know what attacked her.
Oh, I I don't know that I heard about that one. That's more. I don't know. That's more like somebody who's gonna need therapy or something. That's not really not in my wheelhouse.
You don't need something, all right.
I mean, in cases like those where like somebody can't identify their attacker or whatever, then it just
If you don't need something, I don't know what.
kind of vaporizes
Well,
in
I
the
don't
air,
even know
kind
if
of
that
thing.
trade's going to be permanent. It's on who they had on call. Might be able to take the trach out in
I mean,
2 weeks, 2 months.
you're probably more likely to hear about something like that. There's only what 3 hospitals in this whole city.
Yeah, I think there's more morgues and coroners and undertakers than there is hospitals.
Ain't that a shame?
And people are always dying. Usually my job to find out how and why.
I'm usually the one sentencing them to jail.
Yeah.
He takes another big old swig of his whiskey.
Malice is just small, casual sips. You don't mind, Bass? Would be hitting that pretty hard. Used to be more casual.
Criticizing my
You all
drinking
right?
style now?
Not criticizing. Questioning.
Always interrogating with you. Always all the
Who's
questions.
investigating?
Always so many questions. Why you gotta be like that, Chris?
That's the puzzle. I won't solve it.
I'm not
That
a.
Rubik's Cube you got me when we were 13. Took me a month, but I figured it out. Everything's a puzzle to me. You get any answers if you don't ask any questions.
Look, Chris. Always treating everything like it's an investigation, like you gotta know all the answers or some shit. Why can't you just enjoy life?
I do enjoy it
Do you?
as much as I can.
Mr. Social Butterfly hasn't been to a
Yeah.
social gathering in a fucking how long?
Let's see. Been 15. Let's say it's been about 7 or 8 years.
Jesus. I would have thought that you'd have been married long before I was.
Not too many, as I said, not too many women are keen on dwelling autopsy gremlins.
Look,
And out you play with the dead things, they tend to run for the hills.
look, I get it, Chris. You... You and I were always tight. Since the day we were born. And now I feel like I don't even know my own brother.
You still know me.
I don't hardly know you at all, Chris.
Social roles may have changed, but I'm still the same man you knew. Tied up with work. Always tied up with work. Always some investigation going.
When are you gonna make time for family?
I barely have time as it is for the job. I don't know how to shoehorn anybody or anything else into it at this point. I mean, aside from you and Mercy, Reese and Savannah, there ain't nobody that's caught my eye since college, and well, hell, we both know how that went.
That was a dumpster fire.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, I feel like my life's on fire right now.
What's the source, man? Maybe I can help you.
I don't know that you can. So, I'm choosing to try and ignore it.
Medicating.
Okay, bookworm.
I'm not gonna begrudge it. I'm not gonna begrudge you that, bro. We
Look.
all have our vices, and you gotta do what you gotta do to deal with it.
I think Teresa and I have hit a rough spot. That's what you're so curious about, that I think we're hitting a rough spot.
Yeah. No. You got a pretty tough outer exterior that most folks can't see through. I didn't grow up with you like I did. Mercy.
How is Mercy?
He's holding together. Busy as I am.
Jesus. Like I said, when are the both of you gonna at some point find yourselves a partner and settle down or something.
Well, for the moment, we have each other. And it ain't everything, but
Yeah.
it's something. If she weren't so busy, I'd have drug her along tonight. It's been a while since the three of us got together.
Yeah, I missed that.
Fucking Three Musketeers, look at us now.
The Three Musketeers seems to have disbanded, my brother.
We may have gone our separate ways for now, but nothing comes between that, and you know it. Let's thicker than water.
I know that. But
How bad is it with you and Therese? Think you need to look into counseling?
I'm trying to keep it a little under the radar. I don't think Savannah knows. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that to her.
Nobody ever wants to do that, and I'm not suggesting that you do. Could be that she feels neglected and hurt. Don't do the things you used to do. Little things that let her know that she's special in your mind.
I still do all of those things, Chris. I think we're just getting old.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Mhm.
I can't even begin to tell you what's wrong. Because she keeps telling me that she's told me over and over again, and I just ain't listening, and I don't know. Trying to make it work. I don't need you turning all therapy doctor on me. Because I don't want that. I really don't want that from you, Chris.
I don't want to be in that. I'm just trying to get out fast. See it's weighing on your mind more and more.
I don't know, maybe I'm becoming a workaholic and she hates it. I don't know.
So she's told you over and over again. You ain't listening. What has she told you? A workaholic?
She's not happy, that I'm never around, that she's worried that, that's impacting Savannah, and I'm trying. I'm trying, Chris. Quit questioning me. I don't.
Make a suggestion. Maybe you should take some time.
No, I don't. I don't need you to tell me what I need to do, Chris. You asked, I told you. Can we leave it at that?
Yeah.
Good. You know I'd do anything for my family, and I don't know how to fix it. And you're not a therapy doctor, so I don't think there's anything that you can help me with. You cut up cadavers all day for your living, and That's not going to help me none. So I don't need you interrogating me. I just want you around, Chris.
Oh, it's been a while. As much as you're struggling, I am too.
Then fucking
Harder
answer
and
your
harder to be
phone
able to
when I
make
call
it.
you.
It's on my phone. Did you call me?
I call you like...
And he'll literally pull out his phone and look at it. And it's dead.
You never answer your damn phone, like on your lunch break or some shit.
Oh, well, if you need a phone, I'm gonna answer. Alice will reach into his pocket and pull out his work phone. This'll be the number you need, 'cause, oh hell, this one's dead, as you can see. Gotta have this one on and charged all times so that, if I get called out in the middle of the night. I don't know why I've got two phones, shit.
Jesus. I think you'd lose your head if it wasn't attached.
Always forgetting something. But same as when we was kids, I don't ever leave nothing I don't intend on returning.
Hope not. Because I don't want Savannah growing up without an uncle. And I don't want to get older without my brother. Because I need you, Chris.
Here as long as I'm around. I try to make more effort, make sure I stop in and
That's all
stop by.
That's all I'm asking.
Well, Savannah said something to that effect too, so. What's that? I hear she got a seat.
Right?
What?
I think it was math. I think I saw a report card around here somewhere.
Was it like me? She just rubbed the teacher the wrong way, and the teacher just giving her bad grades, or did she actually understand the material?
So far as I know, she is a perfect student in class. Never had any complaints or nothing, so...
Well, it only takes proving one teacher wrong one time, and then that's it. Marked for life with that teacher.
I don't think it's that. I don't know, maybe she's catching on more than I think she is. I don't know. She's smart.
No,
Like
she's
you.
smart. I'm too smart for my own good sometimes.
Always asking questions, that one.
Yeah, let's just hope she doesn't turn out like me then. Does something better with it.
Start interrogating your family. He kind of drinks down the last of his whiskey.
Had habits from jobs carry over. Don't know when to leave shit out the door. what to leave and where.
Work always follows you home, I guess.
For me, it does.
Yeah, for me it
I
does
know how to
too.
turn it off.
You and me both.
Maybe Mercy would be the better person to ask about that. He seems to have the ability to turn that shit off.
Next time you come over, bring her over too. Maybe we'll have
We can
barbecue or
count on
something. If it's early
it.
enough.
We can count on it. With our schedules, I don't know about. What time
Then
is it now?
you look at the functioning clock on the functioning
Yeah.
phone, and it's getting kind of into the evening, kind of around 9 o'clock.
In our work schedules, I don't know what 8, 9 o'clock we're gonna be able to be around. Yeah, you know how busy it gets during the summer. That's
Hey, you know, it doesn't have to be during the summer. It could be next month for all I care. Just come over
maybe
more often.
it ain't gotta be a month. See what I can work out.
I'm giving you a month's notice here, Chris. I'm trying to work with you.
No. I got you. I understand. We're on the same page. I'm just saying, maybe it ain't gotta be a month.
Well,
Maybe I can make things a little quicker than that. Just
if you
gotta.
get some kind of evening off, just let me know what day. And I'll cook us up some ribs or something.
Oh, that can be arranged, and I'll definitely let you know. I was getting to pretty good tight rein on the staff at the hospital.
Hmm.
And as we are a teaching hospital, more than my fair share of students.
Well, I appreciate you coming by, Chris. It really means a lot to me.
I'll also finish off the last of Whiskey and Gulp. Stand up and give Bass a big hug. Miss you, bro.
And he'll give you a big hug right in return. And I believe
Thank you.
that is where we're going to transition scenes. As the two brothers embrace and possibly talk more into the night, we are going to see what Ken and Rodney are up to. You both were looking to visit the homeless population of the streets and get some information from them, possibly, since Rodney, you believe that some of your friends have been trying to get in contact with you.
Yep. Before we leave, Rodney kind of gives Ken a once over. Is he actually dressed down enough to fit in with the homeless population? Or is he still going to stick out like a sore thumb?
He's definitely a very pretty man. That much makes him stick out anyway. But as far as anything else, that's up to Ken to decide. I'm not hearing you talking.
I forgot to unmute myself.
It's all right.
Sorry about that. Ken dressed down into some sweatpants, hoodie with a jacket over it, hood up, trying to be as inconspicuous as possible.
It'll do. Never thought Nosferatu would be picky about clothing. Rodney would then proceed to show Ken the way to where the homeless gather, hoping to find his contacts around that area. On their way there, he kind of picks through the garbage, finding things that might be useful to the local homeless populace to kind of pass off as payment.
Okay. I would like you to roll me a wits and streetwise. I kind of want to get a baseline of how much stuff, foodstuffs, clothing, that kind of thing, of good quality you find. Okay. You see a few pieces of decent clothing, of decent warm clothing, actually. It looks like somebody had recently gotten rid of some of their possibly slightly out of style t-shirts, since it is the winter months now. They were out of style and possibly didn't need them anymore. And so you pick those out of the half-eaten garbage and kind of shake them off. They're in good condition. They'd make some they'd make some people who you know have fairly thinning t-shirts very happy.
Yeah. As he's pulling these things out too, he like shoves them into Ken's hands. Hold on to these for me.
Okay.
And so, Rodney, what is the name of the person that you frequently contact? I don't think we've given them a name.
We never gave them a name.
No, we did not. We didn't really flesh out your ally situation.
We really didn't, because it's a small group. Let's go with...
It's probably a small group, like possibly a family that all kind of just sticks together.
Yeah.
Like a brother and sister and maybe a cousin that all kind of reside together.
Maybe, or just like homeless that have just banded together.
Or at least treat themselves that way. They have introduced themselves that way.
Yeah. Let's call one Jack.
Jack. Simple enough name. It's discreet because there are plenty of people who are called Jack in a city called Jackson, you know?
Absolutely.
Jack and his little band of merry travelers, as you've maybe so affectionately dubbed them, are usually found in the more southern portions of the domain. They generally don't come to the hotel, which is why it's striking you as odd that, you know, they would come, maybe sit around and loiter for a while and get kicked out. And so, and Jack is kind of the self-appointed decision-making member of the group, this small little band. And how have you interacted with him before? I don't think he's ever seen your face.
No, he hasn't. I generally wear my hat low and the scarf around my face and my jacket closed up, and he knows that my body is not appealing
He knows that
because that hunch is so obvious.
He knows that you have a
But-
very big hunch. Yes.
Yeah, he's aware that there's a few medical issues there, but aside from that, there's not really much else that's been revealed to him.
And that you're eccentric,
Except for the fact
and
that
so
I kind of, yeah, eccentric and kind of deliver goods that I find that I can't use to them.
and I definitely understand that he probably wouldn't question it, because someone of your eccentricities and your physique definitely would find it very hard to maintain a job, much less a home.
Definitely hard to function in the regular world.
Yes. And so, while he's never really seen you per se in your physical appearance, he's aware of who you are. And
He
you
probably
often
has my
keep a
name.
distance.
Yeah, he's probably got my name and, like, probably doesn't get all that close,
Yeah.
except for when it comes to trading goods and things like that.
Yeah. And he's generally the one that interacts with you. Okay. So, Jack is bundled up in a kind of thinning coat. It looks like a coat that he's been wearing for some years now. And you arrive at the common place where you find them. Not that they stay in the same place often, but they have a few common places throughout this portion of the city, and they're kind of collecting their goods, and maybe you're getting ready to find a good place to eat where they can find it for cheap, since they maybe have come into a good haul today as far as begging on the streets today. But when you approach, he approaches you in return, keeping his usual distance, and kind of waves and says, "Sup?"
Evening. How are you this evening?
Pretty decent. It's been a good night.
Glad to hear it. Hey, have you been to the Dolphin Hotel recently?
Dolphin Hotel.
Yes, the place where I usually lurk.
The fact that you were able to lurk over there is kind of impressive, because they kick people out within
Well,
like a couple
yeah.
hours.
Yes.
Can't be loitering none.
Well, have you been over there looking for me or anything like that?
Not you in particular, just kind of keeping out of the cold. Why?
It's just, I noticed that there have been complaints from the staff about people loitering there, and I thought somebody might be looking for me.
I mean, why do you hang out at the Dolphin Hotel?
It's a good place to get food
And they
and
don't
clothes.
kick you out?
Not if you know what you're doing. The back of the building is a good place to access things.
Right. Keep that in mind. Cool.
But you haven't been looking for me? Or heard anybody who has been?
I don't know what's it to you.
Well, if somebody is looking for me, they must have a reason, no?
Well, yeah. You're not gonna steal my shit, right? And he
No.
asks you this every time.
No.
Okay.
In fact, this is my friend, Ken.
Hey.
We've brought some stuff for you.
Yes, we found this on the way over. And I'll go ahead and hand all the shirts and whatever else Rodney decided to throw into my possession.
And it's a couple shirts, maybe a long sleeve shirt, and a bag of half-eaten food. Oh, sweet. Yeah, these will come in handy.
That's what I thought.
Cool. So nobody's really looking for you specifically, because you're nobody, right? You're not
Yeah,
anybody. Just like me. Who the fuck cares?
Hmm.
But I don't know. The word is that some people are getting kind of uppity.
Uppity.
Yeah. Uppity. Like the kind that I don't know. Drive-by shootings and shit.
Ugh.
I don't know. I don't go anywhere near those kinds of neighborhoods.
Like gangs and stuff.
Yeah. Gangs are getting kind of uppity.
Where at?
South of here.
Yeah.
South side and towards the east. Like near that little airport that's right there. Not that that's super close, but so you know where I'm talking about.
Do I know where they're talking about?
That would be that section of the city is usually patrolled by the Hound Spencer Quinn. But to the east, is the Flowwood neighborhood.
So, do you know what's going on with these people?
Not a clue. I try to stay out of it. That's why I'm here.
Right. Oh.
I mean, you and me have been talking for months now.
Yeah. If you need any help, you can find me around the Dolphin Hotel. Just make a bit of noise over there and I'll come find you.
I mean,
What?
same, I guess. You know, we've been kind of talking back and forth. You can, I don't know, for clothing and food.
Yeah.
We'll keep our ears open or whatever.
If you see or hear anything else, would you let me know? I know a few other people that I kind of want to, spread awareness, keep away from there so that they stay safe and all that.
Yeah, because, I don't know. I gotta look after my sister and my cousin, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Family first and all that.
Yeah.
Question.
Ken guy, family?
Yeah, kind of.
Cool. Question.
This guy's jacket was pretty rough, right?
Yeah, it's pretty worn. It's seen some wear and tear. Maybe
Ken will
some
just
fluff will come out of it.
Ken will take off his jacket and say, "This is a down payment. Then you need this more than I do right now. I'm good with just the hoodie."
For real? It's cold, bitch.
Yeah,
I'll find him another one.
You're good
it's
at
not
finding
hard for
shit.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not hard for us to find clothes.
Cool. Well, yeah, then, if that's a down payment, then, we'll keep our ears open, I guess. Eyes open. Whatever.
Yeah. Let me know if it gets worse or anything like that. If you see or hear anything else about it.
Yeah, Dolphin Hotel. Got it. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
Cool. I'll see you around. And Rodney kind of awkwardly turns and starts to walk away.
And Jack also goes back to the group that he's with, and they start packing up their things and start looking to move on.
You keep some interesting company, Rodney.
You make company where you can use them. Humans are good. Humans are fantastic. They see things that we don't, and they see things in the day and they see things at night, and they can travel across borders, and other humans don't suspect them, and most kindred don't suspect them either, and they're good. They're like animals. Animals are good too.
Ken will just kind of chuckle a little bit. And, yeah, I'm beginning to see that.
Information is power. The more information you have, the more you can do with it. So having networks of people is a good thing. Even I still have to fit into society somewhere.
You know, Rodney, I think Dana gives you a bad rap, but there are things about you that my nature just, it tweaks me, but you are not a bad person.
I try to do my best with what I have. As we all should. Our best with what we have.
I can learn a couple of things from you.
That's debatable. I don't really think you'd be able to do my job.
No.
You're too pretty. Too pretty. Pretty people don't do well like this. Draw too much attention. You've got your own skills.
Yes, that is true. I wasn't looking to take over your job.
No.
I don't think the cats would like it very much.
No. I don't think my cats would.
You hear a mew from Charles, who's gone from, kind of wandering the area to find something to snack on to now jumped up on your hunch again, having collected himself a nice little mouse snack.
Did you find anything else interesting, Charles?
And you're using speak with the
Yes.
speak with animals.
Yep.
And that's free and you're familiar?
Because Charles is familiar.
Okay. You kind of between munching sounds, you kind of hear him say, "It was a good toy. I had fun."
Try to keep the rat guts to a minimum, please.
Now it's just a snack time. Munch, munch, munch.
He has a good snack. I'm imagining Rodney saying this as like a couple of bits of rat guts fall down his shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Ken will just kind of slightly recoil, and I bet he does. Shall we go back then?
Yes. On the way back, Rodney would like to keep an eye out for bats and birds and the like flying around. And he'd like to particularly take a roundabout way back to the hotel near the edge of Flowwood.
To find said creatures?
Yes.
Okay. In that case, do you have the ability to summon creatures to you, or no?
No. He's just looking for them around.
Okay. Just looking for, what the population density is, in a way? Okay. In that case, that is going to be a resolve and awareness.
Resolve awareness.
Because you're not necessarily looking to contact any of them, you're just looking at the density of what might be out right now.
Ew.
You're not seeing you're definitely not seeing a whole lot of birds. You kind of have a basic understanding that birds are the
daytime.
The city birds are typically daytime birds. If anything that you would find at night, as far as birds would go, would be something along the lines of I don't know, maybe the odd crow, but there's not enough foodstuffs for birds of prey of any kind to dwell in the city at night.
He's also keeping an eye out for bats and the like.
Bats and the like, you don't find a whole lot of either, because there's not a whole lot in the city. The city is fairly flat. There's not really much in the way of like cave systems or dark forests or anything like that around the city, and so you're not really finding a large populace of either of those things. There's some. There's like the random one-off that you see every now and again, but you get the sense that unless you can call these creatures to you, they're probably few and far between to become a collective information system.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. So that might be an idea that I might have to give up on.
Now, as far as like land creatures, like rats and mice and cats and dogs and things of that sort, you have already been made aware that the population in the Flowwood neighborhood is thinning, and as a result, those animals are already leaving those areas. You'll find more of them, more of those strays in the Camarilla territories at this point. So that is something to consider.
Does Rodney voice what he's doing to Ken?
You just kind of see Rodney looking around and kind of narrowing his eyes, and occasionally he gets a grunt of displeasure from him. Almost like he's looking for something and not seeing anything that he likes seeing.
Yeah, so as you're driving, Ken, you occasionally hear the random noise as he's staring, like, face
Driving? No, they're walking.
Oh.
They are walking.
Ah, okay. Then, yes, he looks like he's got his face against glass, but it's not actually face against glass.
What has you so troubled, Rodney? What do you seem like you're looking for something?
I was hoping to get in touch with flying creatures to get a bird's eye of Flowwood and the like, but
Well,
seems unfeasible.
if you
Now,
can't find them, why couldn't we visit a pet shop of some type and procure? They won't be able to survive on their own, but as long as you keep them fed, they might be able to do your bidding like your cats.
It's an idea, but a pet bird is not the same as a wild bird, and any kindred who is capable of interacting with animals will be able to tell the difference immediately. Yes.
Rodney, make me an intelligence animal ken.
Intelligence animal can.
You would know that while you may not possess the ability yourself, there are other Nosferatu in the city, and they might possibly have the ability to summon said creatures.
I may be able to get help from elsewhere, though. I just need to figure out exactly who to talk to. But that is... that requires delving into the others of my own kind, which I doubt you would enjoy the company of.
No offense, but you're probably right.
And it would not be a good idea to have you accidentally insult one of my own clan. The results of that could be quite disastrous.
Yeah, I imagine so. Well, if that's something you wish to take care of tonight, we could part ways, even though I don't fancy leaving anybody alone. But,
We'll get back to the hotel first, and I will do some thinking on who I can speak to.
that sounds like a plan then.
Yes. And Rodney will continue walking back to the hotel.
All right. So the two of you are off to the hotel. But then there's Dana, who has decided to take it upon herself to go and maybe mingle with the court.
Well, seems with all of the others having been occupied, it's probably for the best that I end up seeing what's going on the home front, at least for the time being, before I, well, get back to business as usual. It'd be an absolute shame if we missed out on something in court, and it is my job to end up keeping everything nice and tidy. And at the very least, I have something to end up having some fun to talk about when I end up getting there.
And you definitely know that there are some gossips in this court. That is for dang sure. Let's see. Who all would be there? So, it's actually a fairly light night, given the events that have taken place previously at other locations. It's fairly empty, except for a few Toreador of note, one of which being Harpy Harvey, the others being your own sire, Austin Wright, and Caitlin Fargus, live sire, as well as maybe some unknown faces, but there's also the seneschal, kind of simply observing. It is her duty to be as informed as possible for a number of reasons, given her position. And rumor goes a long way.
Really does.
But you notice also that there's not a replacement keeper at the door. Instead, there are mortal guards guarding the elevator down to the Elysium location. They're stationed at the elevator and have, as you learn, are not instructed to go down the elevator. They're simply meant to stay at their station.
You know, if this wasn't something that I felt was mandatory, I'd rather be spending the rest of the evening at the armory. But, given who's at the 4th Avenue Lounge, I can't be too disappointed. I keep an observational eye on the seneschal, of course, though if not being beckoned by anybody or immediately approached by somebody, I will definitely make my time to end up going to see the harpy.
And as you do, Caitlin and Austin also make their way in that direction.
Just when I thought this would be less complicated, well, I won't break stride to beat them or meet them, but we'll end up seeing what happens.
And so, these 4 Toreador are now in a small circle. Austin, of course, says hello to you, and so does Caitlin. And the harpy, she's barely looking at you.
Ever so snide of an insult at this exact moment, but to be expected. Of course, I'll show some decorum. Not really because I give a shit about Austin. As far as I'm concerned, he can burn in hell. And if I had the opportunity to put him there, I wouldn't be too apologetic on it. No, I'm doing so specifically because I'm within the eyes of the seneschal and, well, within the harpy's striking range. Caitlin, I still haven't got a full read on. I'm still trying to dial her in. But at the very least, the seneschal ends up being certainly someone of note, and the harpy, well, being a herald of events and traditions, I have no doubt has something important to end up discussing. So instead, I bide my time until otherwise acknowledged, allowing the 3 of my elders to be able to end up talking. Every so often, my glance will end up probably going to Austin. Trying to hide those feelings of contempt is difficult at the best of times.
Harpy Harvey then, on her own kind of timetable, does look towards you as you're walking toward her, just as you're approaching, and gives you a slight nod. Miss Rain.
R.P. Harvey, it's so good to end up seeing you. I wanted to end up stopping by in court, though the night does seem rather dull. I feel so terrible that you're trapped here, yet to look over the matter nevertheless.
Yes, well, someone must, since Aurelia sadly has departed us.
My heart mourns for her with each night.
I would rather be at Club Couture right now.
Fashionable as always, and yet dress couture seems to be what you're forced to wear for the evening.
How does the evening see you?
Much better now that I'm within your presence, no doubt. But,
How flattering.
well, I can be flattering or I can be sharp, such as what, well,
Such is the way of the
certain-
rose.
well, such as a certain Tremere discovered earlier this evening.
Oh?
Oh, a Mr. Duplancy.
Mr. Duplancy.
Oh, yes. There was a discussion drifting towards the failure of his 2 children, and, well, I had to end up questioning him in the regards of his own judgment when he stated something impossible. The Anarchs, seemingly under one banner at this exact moment, or so we're trying to confirm, and he said such things were ridiculous, which I have to question the wisdom of a man who has lost now 2 children to the Anarch movement.
2.
It's to my understanding that his loyal progeny has been spirited away, off to the, well, off to the reservoir, in order to get some personal coaching with their dear Baron, or other some such nonsense. And the hope is that with enough plying and understanding, I'm sure with the bleeding hearts of 1,000 young, will somehow move them into swaying against. Nevertheless, they are within Anarch clutches, causing him 2 mistakes. Again, I have to question the wisdom of a individual who says what is not possible when choosing, well, any action at this point. So I had to remind him of that sad fact, and unfortunately, it doesn't bear well for the man when the most he can do is leave the room stamping out because he's insulted. And he won't have to take such things, especially from some fledglings such as myself.
I hear he gets quite the earful from his own chantry members as well, given the fate of poor Urian Doyle.
I have no sympathy for idiots or fools.
Yes, he crams himself into books of demons. Supposedly has
Well,
written books of demons as well.
perhaps he's trying to conjure up a succubus in order to end up keeping his bed warm, as his left hand has just given out.
Oh my. And you hear a chuckle come from Caitlin too. And from Austin. He's stifling it, but he's chuckling too.
Well, there's only a few ways to hope. But unfortunately, if he spent more time upon his kin and less time trying to dig up girlfriends or boyfriends, I'm not sure. Either way, it blows. The sad truth of it is that I am left with a bit of a conundrum. So I decided to end up coming here, as the rest of my coterie has embarked upon various other activities, no doubt to continue their digging into the comings and goings of the Anarch movement.
Of course.
I have been brought upon to report as one of the more sightly figures welcome in Elysium.
Yes, of course. Always a
And
good, always a pleasant sight.
it's just a bushel of roses in here tonight. And of course, our dear seneschal notwithstanding.
Yes, of course. And Seneschal Howell kind of looks like she's not particularly paying attention. She's kind of got a notepad out and is scribbling something.
Am I in a position where I might be able to glance what she's scribbling?
Um, if you want to, you can make a wits awareness. And if you were willing to risk it, you could use heightened senses.
What's awareness? 2. 6. Yeah, why not? A passive glance.
Is that with heightened senses or no?
That is with heightened senses. It's a relatively subtle power, and it shouldn't activate to end up giving much of anything.
No
Just a
physical
quick
indicators,
glance.
right?
Yep.
You glance your way towards the seneschal when the both of you acknowledge that she is in fact in the room. She's got it kind of positioned in her lap where it's angled upward, but from what you can tell, it doesn't look like she's writing anything. As far as the pen looks, it looks like she might just be writing or making scribbles. Maybe drawing something?
Well, I may have to look into that later, though I turn off heightened senses almost as quickly as it takes
comes on.
when I...
Yeah.
No sense leaving it open and at risk, especially when I have an entire adoring crowd here. Especially that of the rose. But yes, I bring back. There is a certain flair that is required, and I will admit he is such a bore. I had to almost make my own sport out of him, lest I end up crawling back into my grave, and the blood rejects me in some vain hope of going back to the soil, if only to end up sparing myself another century of being within the man's presence.
Oh my. That sounds like you had a very terrible time. Caitlin pipes up.
Please, I got to make sport of him in the first place. That should be more than enough.
I've always found him to be very brilliant, but socially inept.
I can definitely confirm the inept part. Brilliant. Maybe in some circles, I imagine the end of a short bus might end up proving a fantastic measuring yard.
I think that's a little unfair. But
Unfair was the fact that he ended up siring 2 children who are currently in the hands of the Anarch movement.
well, of course,
That is unfair.
That is incredibly unfortunate.
Yes, my mind reels at the thought. Whatever sire would ever end up losing a child to the Anarch movement and choosing to embrace such an individual, I wonder, as my eyes may be drifting to Austin.
And Austin pipes up, everyone has their reasons for who they embrace.
I'm sure. But
I'm sure everyone in this room is chosen well as far as their embrace. He's pointedly looking at you too.
Yeah. I'm absolutely sure everyone ended up doing the best in their capability and within the limits of their own imagination. They were capable of doing so. some are just blessed with more vision than others, and we don't begrudge them too harshly. I simply jest at the ineptitude of such a sire.
But you didn't come here to strictly make fun of Mr. de Blancy, do you?
Oh, of course not. I have plenty of other individuals I can poke fun at all night.
Oh,
But
seems a little boring.
oh, it can be, but until I end up running out of material or end up recycling it, it's always good to end up making sure that you've practiced a certain degree of wit. But no, that's not the real reason that I ended up coming here. The reason I ended up coming here was to listen to your own voice, Harvey, specifically in terms of recent events, the effort against the anarchs, as I have now informed you of what we have been doing, with hopes that this information will end up finding itself in the appropriate hands in order to mount a appropriate response to the anarchs' continued blasphemies upon the prince's hallowed grounds.
Yes, with 4 separate casualties to the court, as we know now, it is important that we give them a suitable follow-up, if that's so dignified a word.
Well,
As the prince has commanded, the blood hunt is on, and he has spared no expense at such.
no doubt. And if it may end up pleasing you, I've already ended up making a point of dealing a single fallen point. Let me rephrase that, because I've already ended up making the first blow upon our own accord. In fact, he got to end up screaming as he was doused in gasoline, and
oh my,
had the wonderful moment of kissing a road flare, trying to deep throat it as though it was his boyfriend.
How unsightly.
And yeah, thrilling. So,
hardly imagine such a thing.
Perhaps I should record it so you can end up enjoying the moment yourself.
Oh, but you know that would be a masquerade breach?
Not if it didn't get in the wrong hands.
You never know with technology these days.
True. But I guess the thought has to end up keeping you warm in place of coming to such an event. I said to say we've already dealt one point to their number, and this is simply a small group of fledglings managing to end up doing so and receiving the information further on, coming from a source that, while in desperation, did reveal. Though we are in no position, of course, to be able to follow it up, as we would not want to end up jeopardizing the sanctity of our own domain in doing so. After all, it is our responsibility brought on high by the prince himself.
Yes, of course.
But we can make it a point of exhilarating the court from the tales on what has been transpiring on the front lines. And at the very least, hope that this will end up pressing further boons and various other comforts our way, at the very least, in order to continue the pursuit, or at the very least, offer a chance for your own hunts. because I would love to know what the court has been doing in that same regard, in
Well.
order to best coordinate efforts.
Well, we definitely have some very talented neonates as well, who will be joining the front line soon as the... I'm sure you're familiar with them. You have been introduced to Anastasia, Colette, and Fernando, haven't you?
Yes, and if I recall, the prince's own blood would be joining that number.
Yes, they have been very helpful in their own set of skills and ways.
Yes, as theirs serves as the backing of our own domain. I've kept an eye on for that particular point of interest. You say that they're moving towards the front.
Yes, with the announcement of the blood hunt, it seems that every kindred who wants to make a name for themselves is beginning to converge on that domain. I mean, of course, not with jeopardizing their own domains, of course, but
Of course.
are looking to join in on the occasional escapade.
Alas, we do not have the sheriff and his honorable hounds coming through our own gates in order to spearhead it. Oh, to end up seeing such would
But isn't
bring
Spencer
my
Quinn
heart.
spearheading all of this?
Of course he is. In fact, I ended up having to end up being swept up in his delicious arms not too long ago. In fact, he was in the room when I finished tonguing Duplancy. There's a rim shot. And there's the other one.
Well, as the coordinator of the defenses of the front line, he and our beloved Scourge, Mr. Bashir, are working very hard to make sure that those anarchs are tamed. With your help and with the help
The dig
of...
crew is always at the disposal of the court's whims, if only to end up maintaining a certain degree of balance and air towards the city itself. We know full well on who is rightful to rule here, and are sure to end up maintaining a certain status quo.
Yes, they rock the boat a little too much. We don't like to rock the boat, do we?
Not enough to make it unfun. Still, I'm sure the evening's excitement will serve as an absolute highlight for this century. I'm lucky to get it out of the way early so I can enjoy a long peace and prosperity of, well, whatever it is that a Ancilla does during long periods of calm. I have to apologize in that regard.
I'm sure you'll find something fun to entertain yourself with. As far as other members of the court, though, the interior most of the city is doing what they can to shore up their own defenses. And that's really all that can be said, because as you can see, this Elysium is empty.
Which does remind me, what is the plans for a new keeper? I ended up realizing the security seemed to be, well, I think you already know.
Yes, with the sad departing of Miss Delcroix, we do have to sign another keeper. And I'm sure the prince will make an announcement for that position very soon.
Ooh, who are the runners?
Well, Austin and Caitlin here are putting themselves forward for the running. Mr. Walter Holloway is also eyeing it. It seems only fitting that a rose should take over where a rose wilted.
True. True. I can understand that.
And I
Though
can
I'm
understand
surprised
if you're
by the
far too
charges.
busy to want to apply for such a menial position.
Menial. Please, it is an honor to be serving the court. But she stops and thinks about this for a second. And kinda smiles a bit in that regard. Now, if I had to end up guessing, no, there is one I think that serves that purpose with a bit more gusto, if I had to end up guessing.
Oh. And who would that be?
Well, you've already mentioned her name. Anastasia Hoffman.
Anastasia?
And she says that name just loud enough, as though not quite an announcement, but with a bit of enough gusto for the seneschal to hear.
And Harpy Harvey kind of cocks her head a little bit at you. And why ever should a member of the Clan of the Moon take over this position? What is your reasoning behind your nomination?
Internally, she smiles. Harpy ended up using the term nomination, meaning that even if it's not a whole lot, Dana's voice does carry some weight in the court, and might have to do with her recent actions. It's quite simple. Anastasia, first and foremost, is of the clan of the Here Moon. And given the fact that our own seneschal shares a clan with that, a very prestigious position, shows that they have that amount of power in the position. But the position is best favored for those who are vigilant, and Anastasia is a set of eyes that I trust above many. Also, in tremendous keen insight, as is known from the Clan of the Moon. I would rather one who can see problems coming and be able to react and call forth issues proper than one who may end up finding themselves distracted by the pageantry. As much as we all love it, we have to acknowledge that what we have here, and if I might be so bold, is a beauty who ultimately is already found their status to be keeper. While a wonderful position to end up doing so, ultimately does not serve the court. It simply serves as a stepping stone. Caitlin's talents are far more wasted. Austin is a acknowledged member of the Hare clan. But surely, I mean, look at his dreads. Is that what we expect for the curtains? No. What is most appropriate, and let us look to Stacy. Stacy is certainly a individual who is prompt, but no passion for it. no keen sight. It would be akin to a board meeting. Let's be honest here. Do we really wish to end up allowing here such an individual to run the evening's events? No. Someone of interest, Anastasia, would truly end up benefiting that. It also serves as a secondary increase. Should Anastasia end up having the assistance of the Rose and the blessing of a harpy, such elevates her own status, one that has been sorely neglected. And let us not forget, the prince's own child chose of her coterie. Doing so now acknowledges that choice and redeems it further, showing the court's faith in this reforged coterie. A true statement, especially for those in the young. The Anarchs target the young.
This is true.
Oftentimes, the Anarchs will end up using that you are locked into your position forever, serving at the whims of your elders. But the statement of this young child, who is served dutifully, now, with the proper pageantry, and of course, her showing her loyalty to Camarilla time and time again, as well as proving an effective agent, specifically when it comes to being able to know the threat beforehand and to research it before. The Keeper is responsible first and foremost for the safety of all those involved. And we cannot have a dullard doing such a job. I mean, would you truly have the job being placed upon Duplancy? Certainly not.
Heavens, no.
Perish the thought. And so, you've solved the problem of the fledglings, taken the bullets out of the gun of the Anarchs, uplifted a clan who has, let us be honest for a moment, has been relegated to very low standards, which our own seneschal has proven to rise above, showing the clan has more prestige to it. And, if I may remind you, the clan itself, when the Anarchs split away from the Camarilla as a whole, said, no, we will stay with the Camarilla. And I have no doubt that many had their doubts of such a thing. They have been proven to be trusted. And, at the very least, we have an understanding of who he is. You have also elevated the status and the chits in Calais Calhoun, and thus the prince's stock, earning potential favor. Us among the Toreador have, well, not had our true moment in Jackson. But the right players in the right place would elevate us far further than our current given station. It solves so many problems in a single nomination that no one saw. And say it pairs us the resources being tied down to a single location, which they can be better applied elsewhere. After all, Mr. Wright, you would be wasted here in Elysium night after night, would you not?
It is always nice to listen to the gossip going around. But I'm sure you can think of better uses of my talents, I'm sure.
When I find them, I'll gladly end up offering my suggestions. But, Miss Fergus, her beauty is a rare delicacy that should be enjoyed as a finery, not one stuck in a single vase to be left to wither. And so, the choice becomes obvious. Anastasia, who also now serves a new role. Her coterie is in the front, allowing a moment to relay information instantly to the court, as her coterie is tied intrinsically with what is about to happen. Is there any wonder?
It seems that you've thought about this fairly long and hard.
Well,
It's an
she looks
interesting
back.
thought.
I believe that the rose being the proper frame for a newly found Malkavian might make for a very interesting pairing, one that this city was not prepared for, and one that the Anarchs would not account for.
Again, your insight into Anarchs is astounding.
You placed me on the front lines for a reason. I am simply offering you the benefit of my admittedly few years, but enough to know what it is that it can be done.
I'm sure the prince would love to hear that.
He need only end up requesting an audience with me, and I would be at his disposal immediately. As would us all, I have no doubt. But
I'm sure word will travel quickly.
But of course, I am merely a fledgling, a individual who has only risen to prominence, a star that is just now blooming, if only for the fact that times have become so interesting, times where I thrive. So, with that in mind, I hope... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I'm sure you have other things to attend to now.
Of course. Though I do have to ask before I leave.
Mm-hmm.
Just a morbid curiosity, you see. When I first arrived here, Miss Ferguson and Mr. Wright were discussing something, but as soon as I kept in the room, they came right on over to end up joining us in this wonderful bouquet of roses. So I'm curious as to what it was that you were discussing, or what sped you away into the loving arms of our Harpy Harvey.
Caitlin kind of folds her hands in front of her and says, well, you've presented us with some entertainment tonight, of course.
Well, I know it's fun to end up regaling the youth and making them act the fool, or at least dance as a puppet, so I hope I've danced at least a little better than most tonight.
Certainly dancing.
Well.
And Austin kind of pipes up and says, actually, I've been meaning to speak with you, Dana.
Uh-oh. This is that father-daughter talk about the birds and the bees, isn't it?
Hardly.
If you'll excuse me, ladies, father wishes to speak me. Come along, daddy dearest.
And Harpy Harvey and Caitlin are left behind while yourself and Austin start walking towards the door, or towards some place a little more private.
I'm following his lead. He is my sire, after all. I have to at least pay lip service, and hopefully not in the way of blowing him.
He kind of leads you away towards the door and kind of walks into the elevator with you. Was all of that truly necessary?
Now, all of what being truly necessary, Austin?
Let's stop with the flowery speech.
But isn't this what you wanted? Somebody who'll play the part, somebody who'll dance the songs, somebody who'll be Camarilla.
What I wanted was you. I liked you just the way you were. That showing, that's not you. That's not Dana Rain.
Like you had any idea what the fuck you were here doing with me. No. But it's what you wanted. And I am a hand grenade ready to go off at any time, Austin. I can feel the fuse is lit, the pin is pulled, the handbrake released, and I'm just waiting to get thrown before I blow up in somebody's face. Already took out one last night. I wonder how many I can get in a week. Is that what, somebody who is dancing to the tune of politics and being able to play the flowery language of a traditional toreador? Or maybe
you and I
somebody
both
who's
know that I am no traditional toreador.
You fuck rights, you aren't.
And that's what I wanted for you. I wanted something different.
You wanted something that you thought would walk in lockstep with you. Just edgy enough that, hey, at least now I'm not alone. What do you actually want? What is it you wanted to talk to me about?
Well, I don't appreciate exactly you rubbing my nose in it when it comes to in front of other people. I get it. You're angry.
I'm a bitch, that's what I am.
But just remember who it is that saved
That killed
you.
me. That saved me from what?
From the prince.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope it was worth it. I didn't ask you to end up saving me. I didn't plead about it. I knew what the fuck I was getting into. But now that I got this new lease on life, I'm gonna make it worth every penny. So you watch. You watch as I dance in this little masquerade of yours. You watch as I learn the game. And watch how I'll play it. Because
you're playing
this
the
was
game
the
all
shit.
right.
This was the shit I was against at the jump. But since I couldn't get away from it, and it would keep following me, well, that only left me with one option now, didn't it, Austin?
Look, I'm just trying to make things amicable between us so that we don't have to spend eternity at each other's throats. I don't want you to hate me, Dana. Is that too much to ask? And I don't want this fake playing the part, puppet show. I embraced you. I chose you. Just the way you are.
just the way I am ended up leading you into pulling a lot of strings afterwards. Having any regrets yet?
No.
So what are you complaining about? Enjoy the ride, Austin. It's the one you signed up for when you made me. See, I keeping flexible. I'm doing what's supposed to be done. Like a good little Cammy, like as if I earned my cape. I'm supposed to end up looking at them all and, kiss and bow and dance. So guess what? That's what I'm gonna fucking do, because guess what? It's either that or my head. And I didn't end up making things harder for you because I'm playing the game that was effectively the sentence that I am now stuck with. I'm helping you capes kill a lot of people I ended up calling friends. And I gotta be the cold-hearted bitch that's gotta pretend like it doesn't bug me every single time. And then I gotta end up following it up with going with you every step of the way. So I'm sorry if me poking fun at you once in a while and taking a quick jab or a swipe at you is too much for you to bear, because this was the fucking thing we got signed up for. Is that a little too real for you right now? So yeah, I'm one pissed off bitch. And the fact of the matter is that I don't think there's a whole lot you and me have to talk about. Because after I'm through being pissed off, and after I maybe settled down a bit, after what, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 decades, maybe I'll have had enough shit to go through, and there'll be enough people dead to forget where the fuck I came from, that I can forget too. And then maybe I'll just end up looking at this as a terrible twos moment, Till then, is there anything you can offer me, or anything that you could potentially say to me that would suddenly put this all under the bridge? Because last time I checked, you made me, but I didn't choose this, and I made the most of it every moment I could. And right now, everything I fought for, everything I was about, I gotta play a mockery of it every fucking night. Welcome to my perpetual hell that you signed me up, Austin. So I'm sorry if I'm not just pleading on my knees. Thank you so much for the second chance, Daddy. Can't believe I used to fuck you.
It was good, though.
You know what? I don't even have the energy to put up with you right now. Is there anything else this conversation serves? Or can we just pretend to acting like we don't know each other in Elysium, and then maybe send, an occasional letter come Christmas?
I guess not. I will say one thing, though. I'm sorry. I am so sorry.
I'm gonna wits insight check that. I feel like I'm just being manipulated. Actually, I'm gonna. What does he actually want right now? There's something. He's got to be twisting it. I'm gonna use insight, specifically motivation.
Okay.
And I will willpower that for 2 dice. 4 successes. Was hoping for that crit, but...
Seems pretty forthcoming. And what you know of him, for as long as you've known him, the off and on kind of relationship that you do have, he's never been a very good liar. He can get away with it maybe to a mortal. But someone who has maybe supernatural gifts, he's not exactly the greatest liar. Maybe that's what drew you to him in the first place.
Maybe.
He was honest with you.
You know, I'm just staring at the front. These elevator doors can't open up quick enough. I can't stand to be in the room with them. I can't. I can't be in the same room with him, not with those goddamn puppy dog eyes. I want to gouge him out with an ice cream scoop or something. Just so he could stop looking at me like that.
Nothing stopping you from doing so.
Except a lack of an ice cream scoop.
You got fingers. We got teeth.
But it's not an ice cream scoop.
Oh, come on.
It's the details that matter.
Come on. It would be so much fun to just watch them pop.
At the risk of sounding like Rodney right now, we don't have an ice cream scoop.
And that little voice in your head kind of goes quiet to your logical pleading.
I straighten myself out. Wait for that elevator door to open.
And it seems like an eternity later, the doors of the elevator open.
And I start walking out as quickly as possible. I rush out. I gotta get out.
He walks out, but not nearly at that same pace as well.
I'm just trying to get away from him. There's no good night. There's no looking back. I don't want to look back. I don't want to look at it like as if he's looking at me like he's actually sorry. I gotta remember him as a son of a bitch. I gotta remember what he dragged me into. I gotta remember this living hell that I end up having to play into every goddamn night because of him. And I gotta remind myself that he killed me in the first place. He wants to end up having a savior complex over it. You know, he can do it on somebody else's time. I was a fling. Something that he ended up using, a rebellious spirit. You know, just enough. He was hoping that was just enough to end up placating. When I ended up going anarch, yeah, that was too much. That was just too much. And now the pendulum's swinging the other way, and he doesn't like it. I'm being a good Camarilla, lapdog right now. And I'm going to end up finding every opportunity to bring out what I do best, who I am.
Oh, but man, he could play some wicked guitar.
He could. He could.
He can thrash with the best of them.
Remember when I first picked up the armory, you know, Austin used to come in, kind of an open mic night on early nights. He would just play, and it didn't matter who else was playing with him. It would be him just coming in. Sometimes a band would go in and he would just say, hey, can I play with you guys? Hey, you don't know our music? Hey, let me try. And he built that reputation, able to play with anybody at any time. And I have to keep hating him, because if I didn't, I have to remind myself that I actually cared and that I still care. And then I have to question everything else I did, and then I have to... It's just easier to hate him. It's just so much fucking easier to hate him.
And he's mine to hate.
I'm going to my car as quick as I can. I gotta get back to the armory. I gotta get back to normalcy instead of this insane roller coaster that tonight turned into just because he decided that he wanted to have a heart-to-heart, pleading with me like as if I'm gonna end up forgiving him. Well, I ain't Jesus fucking Christ. What happened to us?
And it's on that note that we're going to conclude the session for tonight. With Dana roller coastering about her relationship with her sire, the information that Ken and Rodney have collected, and Malice having a heart-to-heart with his own family. What will bring the Dig team together again, and what will they do as the second half of the night, or maybe the next night, dawns upon us on the next episode? I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you all in the audience for joining us. Thank you so much, if you're still out there, Dark Druid Productions, for the 5 gifted subs. Thank you so much for all of that. Thank you, Maddie, from the Hero Zone, for the raid tonight. Thank you so much. We love every single one of you. So, with that concluded, we can now move on to our post-session stuff. So, who fulfilled some desires?
I did.
All right, so if you have willpower to regain as a result of fulfilling a desire, then go ahead and do so.
Nope.
Nope.
I succeeded in my desire, but I don't have any willpower to recover, I don't think.
It's
Well,
always my problem.
maybe next time. Never spend any, never recover any. There you go. Black
Hey,
Wolf,
you
if
know
you're
what?
still out there, please go ahead and start the poll for the audience favorite, because we are going to move on to experience.
Nice.
So, much like Derek does in Edmonton, we are going to follow the same kind of experience sharing. And so everyone gets one for coming to the table tonight. Congratulations.
Yay.
But then we also have 3 categories that our players vote upon to decide who had moved the plot, who had the best scene, and who had the best line from tonight. And then, of course, there's the audience vote, which Black Wolf will get the poll up here fairly shortly. But we must deliberate as players. So, who moved the plot?
Rodney. I gotta give it to Rodney. Rodney is the one who instigated the earlier conversation, tying in to end up dragging Ken out to do some investigation, which ties into his own personal plot of expanding beyond his own horizons, while being able to push some personal plot for Rodney and showcasing his connection specifically to his own. I think that was a touchstone, or that might have been a contact, but
That's an ally.
nevertheless, ally. Okay, so
His
that's
ally Jack.
yeah, Rodney would be the one I would choose on that one.
Okay.
I'll
that's
agree
one.
with that.
Okay, so looks like it's pretty unanimous. Rodney, you are the plot mover today.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, welcome.
So, next up, who had our best scene?
I gotta give that to Malice. Malice and the brothers. Or
Yeah.
Malice and
Yeah.
the brother.
Ooh, that was good. It was pretty good.
Look, I'm just saying what we're all thinking.
I mean, Dana had some good scenes too, but it was such a heartfelt scene that I think it pulls a little bit ahead.
I could argue for Dana, and I'll be honest, I'm kind of leaning towards Malice because I know what the next vote is going to be.
Yeah,
Well,
Derek.
so it's
it
me.
should be
Actually.
just renamed Derek Points.
Should I lose it? I'm just the one who keeps the watermark high. That's all I do.
Oh, jeez.
It is a high watermark. It is a tough act to follow. But yes, who does get our best scene?
I'm giving that
Malice.
to Malice.
Malice it is.
Yeah.
And our best line.
Okay, so
Dana.
Moxie, what are the 5 "you're dead" moments?
Fuck. You're ugly inside and out. Fucking that hit me in the feels. Don't have any more kids. Which resulted in Rodney desperately trying to clean that up. There was. Sorry, I'm going through where I was typing them out. We had such a long chat stream this session. Just Dana generally pissing all over Duplancy. Perhaps he's trying to conjure up a succubus to keep his bed warm as his left hand has just given out.
That killed me too.
Fucking look at his dreads. Is that what we expect for the curtains? Oh look, from Dana's sire too. It was good though. Fucking killed me. And then Dana just talking to her beast about the ice cream scoop. Fucking hell.
Yeah. At the risk of sounding like Rodney, we don't have an ice cream scoop.
Oh, but it would be so much fun.
Yeah, Dana had so many zingers tonight. It was so good.
Love it. Love to see it.
Yeah, I was going to say for the first part of, I like the one line that I did. Well, I will dress myself, and everybody laughed at that. And then I was going to throw it over to the multitude cascade of what Dana has said tonight, and we can pick any one of those that are going to win.
Look, I just love the idea of Rodney getting to dress a Toreador.
No.
Yeah.
Like that
Let's
is
be
so
real.
fucking funny though.
Let's be real. Dennis the FNG, and he's going to get the FNG treatment.
Yeah. Yeah, he is.
Are you all right, though, mother?
Look,
Oh, yeah, I'm fine.
look.
Because I know
it was-
Dana's harsh. Like, legitimately, I feel bad for some of the shit that comes out of my own mouth. Just because, let's be honest, out of character, I will rib on you guys all day with some horrible shit, but it's always in good fun. Whereas with Dana, no,
It's
this
straight
is
venom.
spite. This is just
Yeah.
all venom, yeah.
She is
She
venom
means
incarnate.
This
Yep.
venom
She
and
is-
vitriol.
She is venom
vitriol
incarnate.
incarnate.
I love it.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Trust me, if it had been Dana going with Rodney, he would have done the same shit to her. It's like, bitch, I'm gonna dress you down. Like, you don't fit otherwise.
And Dana's pretty too.
They're
Yeah.
too pretty.
I imagine I imagine the first time she met Malice, and Malice smiled at all. I feel so bad for your boyfriend.
This isn't gay, but okay.
Oh, no.
Oh no.
And I only had the one line tonight. I gotta go with Dana.
Oh, I love Dana.
The dungeon
Yeah.
dwelling autopsy gremlin is just not
Yeah.
enough to stack up with so many. There's
No, you had a good day.
choose.
Dana's just punches and bunches.
She
She's
does.
just gone.
She does.
You
She just
Look,
she
Daddy
get
Fat's
she get her own sire in the fields. God damn.
I know, I fucking love it.
Yeah.
Was
The devil
awesome.
inside loves combinations.
Look. Rodney has a new aim now. His aim is to get Dana to trust him.
Mm.
Hey, you know
Like,
what? And
she
it may
doesn't have to like him. She just has to trust him.
But you want to know what? I think on an out of character, especially with this episode, the way it ended, I think it's fully understandable now why Dana is so goddamn guarded. Why she is like all thorns.
Oh, absolutely.
Literally to keep everybody at a distance, so she's
So she
Safe.
doesn't have to cope with them. Yep.
She's got porcupine syndrome.
Pardon?
She's got porcupine syndrome.
That is exactly it.
Yep. She doesn't want you to get close because she's afraid she's gonna hurt you.
And it's not even that she's afraid that she's going to hurt you. She's afraid she's going to get hurt. It goes both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She feels
porcupine
like
syndrome.
she feels like she's been burned and she doesn't want to have that anymore.
Well, look at her sire. He's legitimately sorry. He is damn near traumatized over this shit, you know? And like, if somebody who loves her hurt her that bad,
Yeah.
what do you think everybody else is in her eyes? It's threat. Everything on the board. Everyone is a threat. She's just. The difference is that she's not.
She won't
old
feel
enough.
She won't feel not threatened unless she were to move city or get older.
I don't know. Even when she get older, right? The older you get, the more paranoid you get. But at the very least, then you have a certain degree of decorum. You can hide your disdain. You can smile with daggers at each other's backs. Dana's not at that level.
No, she's all.
Dana's
Dana's ever going to be at that level with Malice.
Dana understands social pecking order, and so she drives that. That's her strength in the political game. She's able to really drive home political or social pecking orders, and so she's going to do that, right? Elevate this person, play this person, and play up. And in doing so, and I'm not sure if she succeeded or not. Hopefully she did, but look at what she did with the harpy. And doing so, there's a reason that she specifically said the name aloud, right? Loud enough for the seneschal to hear what they were talking about.
In case she
Because
wasn't
now
in case she wasn't listening already.
Yeah, but not only that, now it puts social pressure, not a whole lot, but maybe just enough for the harpy to go, that name never came up, and now all of a sudden I have to put this in a consideration where it never came up. And then notice the arguments came after the fact. So if she wasn't listening before, now she is. Now she hears it. Now there might be a way to use, again, that social pecking order to get what she wants while playing potentially to Howl's interest.
I have to ask, too, out of character, does the Harpy have something against the Malkavian clan?
I was just gonna look at that because I have all of the relationships kind of mapped out as far as like
Because
who.
I caught this moment where you almost said Malkavian as the harpy, and it almost seemed intentional, like you almost like intentionally did it, and it sounded almost like it was very disdain filled.
Well, it's I just put a Malkavian above a rose, so that could
Yeah.
explain it right there. But on the flip side, there might actually be something more there, or it could be just legitimate shock for all we know. Like, we don't know what the full ramifications are. That's why I didn't play off of what are the full ramifications. I played off of, well,
Yeah.
you are my elder and I'm supposed to pay you respect, but I know who's above you in the pecking order, and I don't need to talk to them or bend their ear. I just need to put the idea not in your head. I need to put the idea in their head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
I just found that really interesting little thing that I picked up on. That's all.
The harpy is definitely very favorable to the roses, obviously.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but like I said,
You'll have to
it's
find
a
out whether or
political
not
play.
she has vitriol towards Malkavians or not. You don't really know.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Dana.
Well, here's the flip side of it, right? It covers both ways. If she's good with them, she might actually take up on the suggestion. If she's not, I might have put social pressure on her from the seneschal to do so. So either way, that leveraged with my own status, small as it may be,
I didn't catch
I'm
who
able
won
to
the
do that.
poll.
Dana 6, I think it was.
Dana. Dana gets it.
Nice.
So, does anyone have any expenditures? I loved tonight's session, by the way. It was so good.
Same though.
I wanted to have some like heart to heart conversations go on tonight
I love it.
because like I'm a little. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little behind on writing plot, but
Yeah.
but
I'm
the heart to heart stuff was actually really good because I loved it.
Hey, it's where you thrive.
It
be
really
honest.
is. Yeah, it is where I thrive.
I am going to take Auspex 2.
Okay, what power are
And
you taking?
I am going to take Sense the Unseen.
Okay, classic.
Well,
Got
I
it
don't
back.
want to take Premonition because that
The-
doesn't feel like Dana's type.
No, she's more of a see and watch kind of a person. Be an observer.
Yeah. So I'm going to play up to that, and that
She's
leaves
an
me with
observer,
one
not
exp-
necessarily a planner. Premonition, I could definitely see for a planner type character.
Well, I think that is more like heavy insight, visions of the future, that kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
very much a person with a lot of more
Forward thinking.
instinct.
Yeah.
I think it's more instinctual than anything. But like, I would not be surprised that Gangrel has Auspex and they would have went to Premonition. Like, that
Right.
almost feels like a natural fit.
Yeah,
Despite
yeah.
the fact that it's an out of clan discipline, it feels more natural.
Because
But-
it would be that sort of don't want to become prey kind of instinct that would kick in.
Whereas-
Yeah.
Heads up, that's what I'm saving for.
Yeah.
Premonition.
To have
Fantastic.
that to get the oblivion power of fatal precognition.
Ooh.
Yeah. So that's me playing around with the idea of now Dana, and it kind of makes sense because she's been around Rodney long enough that she might start trying to pick that up. It's she's been watching for these goddamn obfuscate motherfuckers all over the place. So she's gonna pick it up sometime.
And it makes
So,
sense
I
that
think
she
it's just
wants to be
natural.
very aware of her surroundings. So
I am probably also going to take a dot in awareness.
okay. A dot in awareness going from what level?
1.
Oh,
So that would go
first
up
dot?
to 2 dots.
awareness up to 2 dots. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All
So,
right. Then
I
that
believe
is
that's
6
6
experience. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
That costs 6. Fantastic.
Beautiful.
By the way, congratulations, Moxie.
What?
Congratulations.
Why?
Because apparently you were killed 5 times tonight and are somehow still able to spend experience.
Fantastic. Loved it.
I'm like a cat. I've got 9 lives.
Okay, so I got to kill you 9 times in a given session. That's going to be so
Yeah.
damn difficult. I'll be hamming it up really bad.
Right.
Well, if the whole thing is around Dana for any length of time, there's
Possible death.
village.
Possible death by laughter.
Yeah,
I feel like this is Derek's aim these days, is to make me die of laughter.
To be fair, it's pretty easy.
I am glad that I was muted and
Like
not
Dana.
on camera.
Dana fucking kills me, man.
I love her. I love all of these characters. This is a great show.
Well, I think Moxie,
a soft
you're too used to me playing like these very serious, very calculated, very melodramatic. You have never seen me play somebody. It's like, no, this person will go in on you. Somebody's taking aggravated willpower damage
It's
tonight.
taking
and
the filter off, man.
Just enough that it's still Twitch safe, but just that much.
Rodney's never gonna die. He steals the lives of his cats. Can't die.
Me first.
I mean, technically he could, but he doesn't want to.
Mm-hmm.
Want to and need to are 2 different things.
Hey,
Yeah.
Dentos, thank you so much for the
Willingly give it
$10.
away.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Oh,
Appreciate it so much. But yes, we are also very close to hitting 50 subs, and if we get 50 subs, then I unlock another emote slot for both the animated and the still emotes. So I can put more emotes in if we get more subs.
yay.
So if y'all wanted, no pressure, but they were very close, and we're also still trying to hit the YouTube goal of 100 subs, because so that we can get the unique channel name. So go subscribe to YouTube if you haven't yet. ! Socials, I think, or ! YouTube. Both of those would work, I think. Then Dust feels pressured. You've already given out 7 gift subs, you silly goose. But yes, all of the VODs for this show and all previous shows for Vampire the Masquerade are on YouTube, so go and check that out if you haven't already, because we do some great stuff here. I love my cast. You guys are great. From the bottom of my heart, I wish there was more ways I could appreciate you all, but sadly, I have to underappreciate you. I'm sorry.
Man, we love you.
As
We
long
love
as
you.
you're running a game, there's a spot at the table. I'm willing to sit down with you wherever that is.
Fantastic. Love to see it. But yes, and if there are any other, like, you want to check out my art, you can always go to coffeecatpresents.com, and that's where I host everything from my Embrace of Mouse comic to, it has my Twitch channel on the front page. It also has all of my portfolio, so go and check that out too. My cat is being very, very needy about wanting food, so I do have to attend to my cat. So we are going to have to go ahead and cut the show here. But thank you all so much for watching. Quick shout out though, Macabre Derek has drawing on the Macabre coming up. What you got working on?
Well, the biggest thing right now is we're currently going through this. I should say I'm going through the fact that I am currently having to, learn Clip Studio Paint because, I'm jumping to a new program. That also means, however, that I am currently here spending some time working on that. And as a way to kind of warm up and learn the program, I am currently working on the basis of a comic called Briarbrand, which will be my side project for the next few weeks, maybe months, while I end up doing commissions. But I'm hoping that after tomorrow, I will be ready to end up starting to take back commissions and get back on the usual grind, as I've been away for a few weeks and, I'm just getting back into the swing of things. So if you want to see how that turns out, we have some art that's been here coming up. I've been enjoying doing the character design and redesign. I've been going through it multiple iterations, and I'm hoping that we'll have something you'll enjoy reading and hopefully be able to launch it to actual print by the end. That's the goal, anyway.
Yes. And we love to see it. Yes. So tomorrow, since it is going to be Thursday tomorrow, you all should dump all of your commission work on Derek, because you were also so like you dumped on me last week. So go and give this guy your follows and your subscribes and all of the commission work, because he does great work, y'all. He did all of the character portraits for this game, so go do it.
Ish.
But I think that's all we have for shoutouts, because I don't think the others have much in the way of YouTube or Twitch content that they produce. But I love them anyway. They're all great cast members. So we're going to say goodnight. And I hope you all have a wonderful evening. And is it Wednesday yet?
Sit back, watch, and wait for the fires to rain down.